I want to talk about song length this week because Ray has announced that she is going to release a 7-minute song. She said on her Instagram, I have chipped away at, scrutinised, replaced, redone and passionately sculpted this song Genesis since 2022.
It's a 7-minute labour of love, she says. And she has used a quote from Nina Simone as an inspiration for the song. It's an artist's duty to reflect the times. She's put a little clip up on Insta, hasn't she?
Yeah, there's a little teaser that's gone out already. What do you think will happen with this song and the radio? And do you think pop stars...
Well, first of all, 7-minute song.
Yeah.
How do we feel?
Well,
If that came up, would you be like, in your Spotify, would you be like... I guess it depends on the song.
It depends on the song. And I think... Remember when Frank Ocean brought out Pyramids?
Oh,
But that was
sort of
two
two in one.
songs.
it was an odyssey.
Yeah.
Two
It
for the
was
price of one.
Yeah, so you never felt bored.
No.
Although I did like the second half more.
Same.
Good.
And then also I remember when they did the radio edit, it was like the first half of it. And I was like, no.
Second half.
And you need the first half to enjoy the second half,
Yeah.
I think.
So, I mean, I think this is what's going to happen with Ray too. So I think the radio edit will be 3 minutes
Yeah.
of the 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is normal. Like,
Yeah.
that's often the case with dance tunes.
Yeah.
Like, you'll have a radio edit, but not as much with pop songs.
Yeah.
Especially with something that she's like crafted and sculpted and
Yeah.
scrutinised. She's chipped away at, and so the radio stations, they're going to chip away at. They're getting,
they're
they're
gonna say,
getting
Ray.
past the chipper. Let's lose that 4 minutes.
I've got an inkling that she's maybe not super worried about like radio with this 7-minute labour of love.
Yes.
I don't think it's been done for that.
No.
I think, you know, artistic statement kind of vibes. I
Yes.
saw the snippet on Instagram. It looks really good. I mean, I just think she's like on one at the moment. And I'm so happy for her.
Yeah, it
because-
feels like she's got a point to prove.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? I think it's really interesting, like, because I've known her for a really, really long time. And she's always had such a, you know, incredible voice in the very literal sense. And she's always been an incredible songwriter. But I think, like, what happened to her with, you know, the record being constantly shelved and, you know, her finally kind of like vocalizing that, I think it really gave her identity as an artist. It gave her this story that she could really like access and talk about, and it just unlocked this like fire within her, which I think is super inspiring and cool.
Do you feel like that with Brat, that this is like we're seeing more and more of you come through? But you've always been very honest and yourself, right?
Yeah, I have. I think like the niche is being rewarded now, and so I feel more than ever like I'm being kind of, you know, praised for being myself. But that definitely wasn't the case for a really long time. It was very kind of like, oh, you probably shouldn't do that because it's not very likable, or, you know, your hair isn't straight enough, or you're not smiling enough, or, you know, all of these things that just feel very sort of like anti-artist in a way. But now, it's, you know, now it's people are
It's
into
quite
it.
good that
How did you resist? Like, it must have been hard.
I think it just felt so wrong and unenjoyable whenever I kind of forayed into, like, even just slightly dipped my toe into a space where I was like, this doesn't feel supernatural to me, but I'm going to try it anyway.
Yeah.
It was just so evident that I just wasn't enjoying it, and almost like wasn't even like respecting myself, you know? And the feeling that I would feel with that was just so awful that it just became like not worth it,
Right.
you know? So that was what would always kind of keep me on track.
I think you have to be a certain type of person as well. You have to be very sure of yourself.
Sure of yourself.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
you wanna do.
it's an artist mentality.
Yeah.
I think like there's a difference between being like a good singer, which by the way, I'm like not really like a great singer. No, auto-tune, babe, like seriously. Seriously. But like there's a difference between like being like a great singer and a great artist.
Yes, totally.
And you can like learn it, you can push into it, you can like not give a fuck about it, and that's also totally cool. But for me, it was just like I could never like force myself into a place where I was like, oh, this feels like not me, because it just felt so uncomfortable to do so.